Hey, everybody. Welcome to Humorist Hangouts. I'm Marty Dunnix, Editor-in-Chief of Weekly Humorist magazine, and this is Humorist Hangouts, where we just go through what happened this week on Weekly Humorist's weekly issue, and then we talk about what other things are happening in the world of comedy and what we're watching and what we're reading and what we're seeing in the news for comedy stuff and trailers and things that we're excited about. And that's pretty much it. It's a pretty simple thing. If people want to tune in, they're welcome to tune in. There's a live chat. If people want to say hi, please say hi from whatever platform you're on, whether it's Twitch or Facebook or YouTube or Twitter or LinkedIn. We're now on LinkedIn. So, people are up there. They're doing their business stuff. They're business tweeting out little things on the LinkedIn.
We're really
they can stop in and they can
out
watch
to the whole
this.
world right now.
Yeah, so we have
sorry, I didn't wait.
We have Andy Newton. No, I like it's
I saw I was in the show, so I didn't want to just sit here like silently like a weirdo.
Not at all, Andy Newton. Andy Newton right there. We have Andy.
How's it going?
Andy's joining us from Queens. It sounds like he is dealing himself some solitaire. Is that what you're doing?
No, I'm packing a bowl.
Oh, that's right. I honestly forgot for a moment. And
it's Friday night.
It's Friday night. He's
Friday
feeling
at night.
right.
I can't be expected to be sober.
He's hanging out. He's sitting. His wife is away on a camping trip.
Yeah, it's her bachelorette weekend.
He's living it up in Queens with his 2 kittens.
Yeah.
And
did you just hear one of them squeak? One of them like squeaked and hop on the bed.
When Andy Newton takes a break from reading comedy manuscripts at Humorous Books, he sits down in a dark room and he smokes some dried plants.
My face has a purplish hue because on the big screen I was watching The Matrix and I paused it.
They have the new Matrix coming out in October?
That's why I'm rewatching the original, because I realized
exactly what I want to do.
It's been like maybe like a decade since I've seen the original.
It's been a really long time since The Matrix.
Yeah.
It's been a very long time since The Matrix.
I'm like in the 3rd act of it now, and this movie is great. It really holds up.
I need to tell you about this great movie I just discovered. It's called
Have you guys seen The Matrix? No, it really holds up. It's just like a really enjoyable movie. I think that they put a lot of thought into people love to poke holes in like the science of the science fiction premise.
Right.
But they actually put a lot of thought into like what they were doing, they're like aspect, there's this whole thing of like being enslaved by robots, and there are aspects of the first 2 acts of the story that really sort of
is there stuff that's
reflect
happening in
like
The Matrix
as memoirs of the formerly enslaved from the 19th century, and like
as you're watching The Matrix now, 10 years later or so, maybe more than 10 years later, are there things in it that have happened in reality that now you're like, that's not even like science fiction? Like, yeah, we do that all the time now.
Well, as I just said, like for all the people who poke holes in the science of it, the one thing I do think is, the one thing I have noticed, or a couple of things I've noticed about the movie that cracked me up, is that one, it's their idea of like computers and their ability to manage things is definitely like of 1999 when the movie was made. It's like well, the computer can barely manage this program because and like in reality, if there was this massive AI computer that was running this huge human farm, they could find these people immediately, right? Like, shouldn't they be able to? Like, why is it so hard to find these people?
They zoom out in this people farm. The thing that they're all in basically the.
Are you explaining the plot of The Matrix to people?
No, but what they're actually doing, they're hooked into the Matrix. and what they're doing out, and it's actually Jeff Bezos is using them to power the Amazon warehouses. All the robots that are putting all your devices into boxes, and then they go. That's all. Actually, and everyone's like, "Wow, how do they do? How do the robots do that so well?" It's actually they're all hooked up to people like Neo.
Yeah,
and they're powering Amazon. That is the Matrix.
The other detail in the movie that I either didn't register when I watched it when I was a teenager, or like didn't appreciate it at the time, is that the idea is that it's like the Matrix is just like a virtual simulation of the year 1999. Like it's like actually like time never progresses. It's like people. Yeah. It just keeps resetting in the late 90s. And I love the idea that like
that sounds like heaven.
They do that because it's the peak of civilization. Yeah.
When I'm sitting in my chariot of my cherry 2006 GMC Envoy that I bought on eBay during COVID, I turned it to lithium on Sirius XM, which is a 90s rock station. And it is like you never leave 93 to 1999.
Yeah, and the idea is that it's like the peak of human civilization was 1999.
Agree 100%. We've never hit that peak again.
People would agree with that 30 years later.
Everything went to shit after 1999, and they have been trying to recreate, like the kids today are looking back on the 90s, and now the 90s are back. So all of my clothes look good again. So I'm so happy I never bought anything new.
Same, yeah. Like I get so many compliments on my Hawaiian shirts now.
Do you?
I've been wearing Hawaiian shirts since I was like in high school. Like at one point, every year when I took my high school ID photo, I was always wearing a Hawaiian shirt.
I have a whole closet full of Hawaiian.
The same Hawaiian shirt. Like I had one Hawaiian shirt in particular that I really loved. I wore it in all 4 class ID photos. I wore it in my college ID photo, and then in my passport photo, which was my passport photo for like 10 years.
You seem like almost too much of an intellectual to be a Hawaiian shirt guy.
They're just comfortable shirts.
I mean, I agree.
And they look nice. You know, like I like color. I like a little bit of, flair and floral patterns,
I agree. I have a whole bunch. They're delightful.
So now, like, they're really popular among like the hipster Brooklyn set, and I get compliments all the time walking around in my Hawaiian shirts, and I'm a little resentful. Like I should just enjoy it, but I'm resentful because I've been wearing Hawaiian shirts for so long. It's like if I woke up tomorrow and they're like, cargo shorts are in now. It's like, damn it! Like, why couldn't this happen when I was 13 years old and I was all about cargo shorts?
Hey, they're practical and they look fantastic. More
you can usually like store a good paperback in those side pouches.
Absolutely. I used to go actually in the same neighborhood I am now, but I would be wearing my cargo pants, and on St. Patrick's Day. They would have St. Patrick's Day parties at all the different drinking establishments throughout Brooklyn down Park Slope. And you'd start at the first place, and it was a place called O'Connor's, and they did homemade corned beef sandwiches, and there would be like a line around the corner. And I would always remember to wear my cargo pants that day. And I would fill up my cargo pants pockets with corned beef sandwiches from O'Connor's because we would do a bar crawl. And everywhere for the rest of the evening or day, I always had multiple corned beef sandwiches ready to go because I had filled up my cargo pants.
Sandwiches in your pockets.
Yeah, I had sandwiches in my pockets all day that I got at O'Connor's for free. And it was wonderful, and it was a great bar. It's gone now. Now it's called McMahon's, and it's totally different, but it was this great watering hole called O'Connor's. Long ago in the days of Brooklyn in Park Slope. And now it's just Coke Zeros, baby. New flavor. I got a new flavor on Coke Zero. It's not terrible.
They redid the formula?
They redo it like every 3 years. They're like, brand new Coke. Like, hey guys, remember how new Coke didn't do well and everybody hated you? Why do you keep changing Coke?
I think they just realized the trick is just not naming it something new. Just quietly changing the formula. Yeah.
Nobody's going to notice. Okay, real quick, let's go through. I'm going to go through this week's issue. and we can talk
Yeah,
about
walk
it.
me through it because I've seen little bits of it on social media, but I haven't really been following it
Andy
closely.
Newton, you didn't read the issue this week. That's okay.
I haven't looked. I don't. Yeah, I don't check my email like after work on Friday.
So this week we had a lot of good stuff. Top cartoonist by gag cartoonist named Bill Thomas. And Bill Thomas, I think, is like an old school gag cartoon guy. I think he's more of a syndicated
That's pretty funny. I like that.
cartoon. And it's fun stuff. It's stuff that maybe you'd see in like a Reader's Digest or something you'd see like Hallmark cards.
Yeah, totally. Like
It's
Saturday Evening Post kind of thing.
Saturday Evening Post. It has a timelessness to it.
Yeah, Funny Times is another publication. I feel like you'd see this in.
Love your new tattoo. What the tree says to the other tree.
I've told you about my love of evergreen comedy before. I think it's just like it's great, you know, like
it lasts.
I know as a writer, I love writing evergreen stuff because then I can keep like coming back to it.
Yeah,
you know,
I mean, as a publisher, I love evergreen stuff just because you can keep pushing it out there and it's not so stale. You know, like it's tough. It's tough
evergreen or like I love like when you know when I write short form pieces, I love writing like holiday pieces because then you can just reshare them every year.
Rolling down the old. How do I do it? Hold on, I'm gonna figure this out. So I do this. No, this. There we are. Now we're on the screen. Technology. If people are watching, and I know that you are because I can see the numbers, if people want to chat, we can see the chats, and we'll put the chats up on the screen, and you can tell us stuff about comedy, and we can talk about what your opinions are, and that's great.
Streaming on LinkedIn.
Absolutely.
I think we got a screen in Times Square.
Especially the LinkedIn crowd, we can talk about resumes and how to add punchlines to your resumes to make that resume pop.
You should have different resumes for different like types of jobs you're applying to. That's my advice.
That is good advice, Andy. I don't know if it's funny advice.
No, it's just practical. It's just good practical advice.
It's great.
I'm not all about jokes. You know, sometimes it's just.
It would help if we had some jokes.
Yeah.
5 Stages of Sleep After Eating a Burrito by Chris McMahon. This is a very funny piece, and it has many stages of if you've gluttoned yourself before going to bed and you're very full, you have those rich and terrible dreams. Are you a big eater at nighttime, Andy?
Yeah, I've been trying to stop doing that because I love like having a full meal at 2 a.m.
I do too. I would love eating like
it's the best time to eat, honestly. Like
it is, and you sleep like a baby.
Yeah, and, you just go to sleep with a big full belly like a cat. You know when like you feed a cat and then they just pass out on the bed.
I would get a large Papa John's pizza with a dipping sauce. This is what I would do in high school or college. You get a big, large Papa John's pizza, and it's like so bready, and it's so bad for you, and it's like so greasy and disgusting because it's Papa John's pizza. It's not good pizza.
They have that really sweet sauce. Yeah,
and you have the dipping sauce. It's basically butter, and you just dump it in there, and you sleep like a baby. You feel horrible. You feel very sick.
My favorite go-to midnight snack is just like bread and cheese. You know,
you can't go wrong with bread and cheese.
Yeah,
actually. The best thing to eat right before bed is a grilled cheese sandwich with bacon.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Thick,
yeah,
real thick grilled cheese sandwich.
I'm not a big like late night cooker. Like I don't cook. I don't like prepare meals. I usually go for things that are like ready to go cold. You know.
Yoga, you gotta be kidding. My G spot is not between my Y, O, and A spot. By Sarah Kinningmont. Very relatable about yoga and I guess getting into positions with yoga and trying to get to that level of enlightenment that you're I guess looking for with yoga.
It's very good art going along with this article too.
Yeah, that's a nice piece. I didn't know how to show orgasm in the piece, so I didn't. I just was like, I think I'm just gonna leave it at yoga. And people can piece the orgasm part together themselves.
Yeah.
I was going
to trust the readers.
Maybe like rosy cheeks. I don't know.
I sort of like there's a very subtle, like, who's the lady? The artist who paints like flowers that look like vaginas, but like the floral sort of like, I love like the that she's sort of like in a flower,
Yes, I thought the flower thing was subtle.
Yeah, that's very tasteful. Yeah,
Thank you. I try to be tasteful every now and then. Speaking of
that
not
being said,
tasteful,
the next lady I did notice was more attractive than she needed to be.
So this is from Kit Lively, of course. Kit Lively made a list, signs that summer is almost over. And they're funny. It's like days are much shorter, so Texas voting locations open at 11:30 a.m. and close at 11:35 a.m. And then one of his pieces in the list was website editors run signs that summer is almost over lists as an excuse to use photo of cute lady in bikini.
Oh, okay, that's good. So it's like a rep.
So I had to
put
cute lady in a bikini because he literally wrote it into the list. And that is very true. I am lazy, and that was an easy image to get. Number one in absurdist fiction, American horror, urban legend humor. Get your book now, Greg Maxwell's Inferno by Keith James, burning up the Amazon charts.
Such a funny book. I'm not just saying that because I'm the editor who chose it to be published. It's very good. It's very funny.
Good. Audio. The audio book is out now, and it's very funny.
Laugh out loud every page. Yeah.
Keith James reads it. It's great. Check it out. Future Feminist onesies on sale at the Humorist shop.
He did something kind of interesting too, because you would expect it to be like a parody, but it's really more of just like a comic fantasy novel. It's like,
yeah, it touches on some really fun genres. It touches on some niches that I think are why it's doing so well. It's because it speaks to very small pockets of people who are very, very interested in that.
They love like the world building and the mythology.
World building, great backstories, crazy characters, multi-dimensional, like it's got all kinds of stuff. It's so interesting.
Yeah.
You can't not read the book. The book it's only 170 pages. You accidentally
publishers don't like advertise that as like
it's only 170 pages. You'll be done this thing in like,
what do you have to lose?
This is a great cartoon from Dan Nistia, and it's a kid in class saying how I spent my summer staycation because he didn't leave the house, like all of us. This is an ad for the event that you are currently watching.
Hey, look at that.
Yeah. I literally wrote to people who got the email. I said, you want to be on the show? Just email me. 5,000 people did not take me up on like,
well, after this hit of an episode, everyone's going to be clamoring to get on this.
You'd think so. This is from Robert Chris, who's he's got the most absurd stuff. He's so funny. It's so weird sometimes, but his stuff is so interesting. This is a layman's understanding of food recipes. And the way he wrote it, it's like he's talking about making pizza, and he says, a mixture of dry and wet is tossed around in white sand to make Frisbee upholstery. A wet sauce is spread with a robot's golf club onto the Frisbee upholstery. And it does he does like 4 different recipes like that, and it's really funny because it's kind of fun. It's interesting to try to decode what he's talking about. You're like, oh, he's making pasta. Oh, he's making pizza.
Yeah, sort of like removes things from their normal content.
Yeah. He's taking them out, and it's like a deconstructed everything.
Yeah, decontextualizes things.
And he keeps on talking about the smoke detective. He goes, the smoke detective yells at me. The smoke detective has woken me from my nap to billowing gray matter. This is from AJ Discomito and Jess Fullstitch. AJ's probably available right now. He's not doing anything out in Ohio.
He's hilarious.
I should have told him to come on the live stream tonight. I didn't even think about emailing him. Ugh. AJ, if you're watching this, I'm sorry. You should have been invited on this. But this is a very funny piece about Cecil Agnew, the father of modern mixology. And it's this completely over-the-top, made-up history of this person who strained cocktails with his grandfather's dentures when germs were discovered in 1875. He scrapped off the use of prosthetics in favor of traditional metal barware, and it's just he uses his glass eye to cool the Scotch cocktails. It's a very detailed and odd story, so you should check that out. We had a new cartoon pad this week with Marisa Arcello. I think I'm pronouncing that wrong. She's a New Yorker cartoonist. Her stuff is very good. It's very New Yorker. It's like a very quintessential New Yorker cartoon stuff. It's very fashion. It looks like almost like fashion illustration. Her people are very well dressed and rich, and it's very like upper crust New Yorker. Like it almost feels like 1950s, 40s type New Yorker cartoons. But
like the foppish era, yeah.
Yeah. It's the kind of stuff that you wish it's more like what you wanted your New York life to be.
When like the person who read it looked like the New York dandy on the cover, you know.
Exactly. Like So that's a fun conversation with her. She has a new book out called The Big She Bang, the herstory of the universe according to God the Mother. So that book's out now.
Cool.
She's written a bunch of books. She does a lot of stuff with philanthropy. She wrote a book about breast cancer and surviving breast cancer. So she has a lot of good books. She's a delightful person to talk to. This is a cartoon from Nathan Cooper about having some confidence. And he says, "Why can't the rest of you be as confident as Sullivan?" And Sullivan's just eating it. He's trying real hard.
I love that it's still like the moment when he's still so sure of himself. Yeah.
He's there. He's like, "I got this, guys.
Yeah.
I'm good. It's going to be fine." This looks like it's seen maybe from the new Matrix movie.
Yeah.
Maybe. You never know.
There is no horse. Yeah.
This was our hashtag game this week, Veggie a Villain, which I honestly was like, there's no way anyone's going to be able to play this game. Kit Lively came up with this one, and he'll send me stuff. Like we
there were a lot of good ones. I was following it on Twitter. Yeah.
There were a lot of good ones. Like he sent this. He was like Veggie a Villain, and I was like, there's no way anyone's going to know enough villains to make them into veggies. And he goes, that's what he wrote. He wrote, "Marty, there's plenty of villains." I'm like, I mean, I guess like superhero, he's like, there's tons of villains. The world's full of villains.
Yeah.
And I was wrong and he was right, and there were so many good ones. So this was Jokra, Hannibal Lettuce, Gord, Voldemort. But there was like
Hannibal Lettuce was good. Yeah.
There were hundreds of them, and they were
Jokra is the winner. Yeah, that's a great one.
I had to design this. I had to find some okra that looked like hair.
Oh, that's
and I
hilarious.
put that together. That's a fun deadline. That's my Wednesday, like manic Wednesday. There's a 45-minute window when I pull together the jokes, and the game starts at 11 a.m. So I have to come up with a image that is the perfect image for the game, and I do it from like 10:25 to 10:45 is when I have my brainstorm development and design time. And I have to do it in that window, or my entire day gets thrown off. And people always decide that they have to call me between 10 and 10:30. Everyone calls me or emails me emergency things. And I'm like, no one ever calls me or writes to me or calls me back ever. And then on Wednesday at 10:15, everyone's like, I have to talk to you. And I'm like, I really don't think that's true. Oh, also and just because things always happen that are terrible, this Wednesday the internet decided to go out. I've never had my internet go out in the past like year, and it decided to. Spectrum actually texted me. They're like, "We have an outage. We'll let you know." And I'm like, "What?
Yeah.
It never goes out, and it goes out like the moment I start doing this. So I had to run the entire game from my phone, which is terrible.
You know, that's like that must mean like the whole area was out. You know.
Yeah, like all of New York City went out. This is a Humorous shop. Yeah, great stuff. Get a Weekly Humorist shirt.
Lisa Strada out now.
Get Lisa Strada out now. You know what? All of the stuff happening in Texas with all of the abortion rights and the time and all the things, I keep on thinking to myself, this place needs a sex strike.
Yeah.
If anybody needs a sex strike right now, Texas. No one should be getting laid in Texas.
Yeah, you want us to be responsible? Yeah.
They should be saying, and we're going to wait. We're going to see if the Supreme Court's doing this. We're going to wait on this. And while we're waiting, no one's getting laid. That should
The
be
only
what's
form
happening.
of birth control they approve of is not having sex.
People should just be not. They should be withholding from all of the guys who are making these decisions for other people. Should not be getting laid right now. This is a fun thing that you're switching right from Texas to me buying a teak rocking chair. Hey, we have a teak rocking chair in the store that I'm buying for my dad for his birthday.
Nice.
So I'll let you know how that goes. I'm going to buy it and see if it comes assembled. I think it comes in parts. And we're going to see what this product is. This is a new product. I have all this teak backyard furniture from this company.
I should have registered at the Humorist shop.
You should have registered for your wedding at the Humorous shop. I wonder if we have a registry thing. I need to look into that. And
what if Shopify probably has a plugin for that?
They probably do. That's a great idea. Andy Newton's big Boston wedding coming up. Everybody who's on the stream is invited. Thank you all for coming. That's going to be 4,500 people are going to be coming to Andy Newton's Boston wedding.
As long as you're vaccinated.
That's very nice. Is this an outdoor wedding or an indoor wedding?
Indoor. Yeah.
Indoor?
It's going to be Boston at the end of October. It's going to be cold.
Yes. I'm going to turn this, and then we're just going to go back to us. Fantastic. Humorist Hangouts. Isn't this nice?
It's very nice.
There are people watching. If people are going to use the chat, they can use the chat. And
please ask us questions. We're running out of things to say to each other.
Not at all. I never can stop talking. I can talk forever. I have something that I will talk about. Well, we did the Cartoon Pad was doing some fun mini episodes that we did yesterday. I'm going to post those tomorrow. And those were fun because we didn't have a guest on those. It was just Bob being angry about something, and there's like a text group, and he was like, we need to record this mini episode so I can talk to Shaw about what he's pissing me off. So we did like a mini episode, and it was not really anything that was really pissing him off. Shaw was a guest on another podcast, and Bob listened to it, and he was like, Shaw, you were so coherent and funny. Why can't you be that way on our show? Which I thought was hilarious.
That's very funny, yeah.
What else is going on? Oh, I bought a telephone. I got faster internet. And but to get the faster internet, they made me bundle with a landline, which I did not need. But then I was like, well, if I'm gonna get a landline, I need to get a new telephone. So I want like a cool telephone for my kitchen. So I bought this telephone on eBay, and it was like a rotary phone from like the 60s. No. So I got this phone, and it's very heavy.
Oh my god! Oh, that's awesome.
Right, it's awesome.
It's like my grandma's old phone. Yeah.
It's an awesome phone. Only on the back, there's no plug. There's no plug for me to plug it in. There's
because it was always meant to be decorative.
Was it? No.
Well, I'm sure like at some point someone turned it into a decorative thing, you know?
No, this is an old plate, and I took it apart, and all the mechanics are inside, but there's no out. I think I have to hardwire it. So I need to figure it on YouTube.
There's got to be like a, I guess maybe you have to wire. Yeah, you have to wire it again, rewire it.
Yeah, I have to figure that out. So we're gonna see what happens.
I don't know anything about that.
So that's So what do you have going on this weekend? Anything good?
Just reading more manuscripts.
Reading more manuscripts. How many books do you have currently in the Humorous Books hopper?
Well, right now I'm reading Marty Nelson's next book. She's the author of Lysistrata, we were just talking about. Next year, we're putting out her second book, Attack of the Rom-Com. It's a really enjoyable, funny, romantic comedy novel. So I'm about halfway through that right now.
Excellent.
Brian Boone just submitted his
Brian Boone's book
just today,
be funny.
And I'm excited to read that. How to Be an Old Person. Lots of good, humor at baby boomers' expense.
That's going to be a fun new book. And then we have Andy Spain's book.
Yeah, Cash Grab.
Cash Grab.
That's I finished.
That'll be in.
Yeah, we have final manuscript for that. We're just putting the book together now.
The cover and stuff looks good for that. So I need to do that.
Yeah, the cover is really nice. Yeah,
and we will get that up. Also, I was on a walk, a dog walk. One of my neighborhood neighbors in Park Slope is comedy writer Caitlin Kunkel. So we were walking her dog Xander around the neighborhood, and we just talk about comedy stuff, and we talk about what's happening in the world and stuff. And I was literally like, "Oh, I'm writing a book." She's like, "You're writing a book?" I'm like, "Well, it started because I wanted to make this movie, someone asked me about making a movie, and they said, "Do you have anything knocking around that could be done for this budget?" And it was like a fairly low budget movie. So I was like thinking about how to make a movie for under $200,000. Like, what would it be? It would be a shoot. It would be a shoot that would be just kind of a 1 week shoot, one location. You know, it would have to be very limited, but it could be like very good dialogue. It could be very good characters, but it just,
like Chasing Amy, except without the problematic.
Right. So you wouldn't have all this stuff. So then, so I was trying to think of something, and I was like, oh, it's going to be like this. I wanted to do like a murder mystery. It was going to be in this bed and breakfast. I had this experience where I'd gone to a bed and breakfast upstate, picking up antiques. We went to the bed and breakfast because it got late and there was a storm, so we had to stay in the only room available was this old manor. So I was like, maybe this could be like a murder mystery, maybe because there was a bunch of weird people in it. So I started writing it, I started thinking about it, and then I was like, maybe I could make this a book. Maybe it would be a fun thing to rank a book, because I went and I made a cover, as I always do. I always make the movie poster cover to inspire me. And then I was like, if this cover's done, what if I just wrote a book, the cover's done, and then we make it into a movie? Right? And then I was thinking, like, we have all these other films that were Weekly Humorist branded movies that we actually pitched. We pitched to like a movie company last year, and they were more like lower budget. And I had made movie posters for all of these movies.
Yeah.
And we wrote treatments. Why don't we just make these all books? And she was like, yeah, you should. And I was like, I can write a book. So writing, I got a book on how to write books. I'm going to do like the whole Save the Cat writes a book.
Nice.
And I'll be an author, just like you, Andy Newton.
Why not?
Yeah, Andy Newton. His sequel to On the Campaign Trail or thereabouts, The Carlyles, will be coming out soon. People are reading it now. We have Sophia and Catherine and Ethel are reading that.
Oh, good.
They're some of our fall interns.
Gary Almeter just sent us his thoughts on it. He really enjoyed it.
Excellent.
Yeah. He's one of our like original fans, though, so it's hard to.
He is, and he's great.
But we know he's gonna like it.
He's great. He's also McSweeney's writer, also published author.
Very funny.
He's very good. We're lucky to have a fun niche of people who are really talented, who are still who like to hang out.
He's really in. One thing about him that I found out is he's really into the JFK assassination. I think he's into JFK in general, but like as an extension of that,
Gary is?
Yeah, I think it was coming up like this was maybe a year or two ago. It was coming up on an anniversary of the JFK assassination, and he sent me like 3 different articles, 3 different short form humor pieces that he wrote about assassination conspiracies, and asked me to give him notes on them. And they were pretty like inside baseball. It was interesting. It was like wow, this guy's like super into this.
You're like, no one's gonna get this article.
There were like there was like good stuff in all of it, but then there was the trouble is like when you go like when you know too much about a certain like conspiracy or anything, like you're gonna start referencing things people just don't have any context for. Like there's this whole conspiracy about a babushka lady who was caught on the Super 8 film, the famous one. And like people think that she was like the second shooter.
There was a lot of evidence.
That was how I learned about the babushka lady, was from his article.
Yeah. Interesting. Also, that something I became obsessed with this week, I think we talked about this already, was Only Murders in the Building, the new Steve Martin short show.
Yeah.
On Hulu. People should definitely watch that. That's incredibly funny. There's 4 episodes now, so you can binge watch them. And then Selena Gomez is in that, and she's very funny. I thought she plays off the old guys really well.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I'm trying to remember if I've seen her act in anything before. She has like a very
she plays aloof Gen Z very well.
Yeah, but she also kind of talks like an old movie star. She has like that sort of cadence.
She doesn't care. Like she kind of comes off like like she's not overthinking her thoughts, and she's saying as little as possible. Which you find out there's a reason for that, but I don't want to give anything away.
It's a great show.
It's a great show.
Yeah.
Also, I saw a film trailer for a movie called Don't Look Up that looks fantastic. It's got like 1,000 famous people in it, and it's all about a meteor who's going to hit Earth.
Oh, that's the new the new movie from Yeah, I saw the trailer for that. That looks really good.
It looks really good.
Yeah.
And
that's totally like true. In real life, if like an asteroid was gonna hit Earth, we would just waste our time like debating the politics of it and like, is it the government's responsibility to destroy an asteroid? I don't know. Like,
I'm allowed to live in a free world where I can let the asteroid hit me.
Yeah.
No one can tell me not to let the asteroid hit me. That's a decision I get to make for myself.
Well, sure, I would protect myself from the asteroid, but we'd also be helping out all these poor countries, right? Like, I don't feel good about that.
No, not at all. So that's coming out. So people should watch that. In addition to the updated Matrix movie, and there's a Muppets Halloween movie that's going.
I haven't seen anything about that. What's that?
One of my friends on LinkedIn posted that on LinkedIn.
I love the Muppets.
I get all of my hot entertainment news from inside track people on LinkedIn. Yeah. Yeah, it looks really good. I think the main character is going to be Gonzo the Great. He's going to be kind of like the main guy in the Halloween Muppets. So that's going to be great too.
I really related to Gonzo when I was a kid.
Me too. And is that why you're wearing a purple tuxedo for your wedding?
It's a navy blue tuxedo.
Oh, I thought you were going to go slightly purple tuxedo.
No, it's navy blue.
If you were going to go purple, it would have
been
much
very
more
much like Gonzo the Great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Missed opportunity.
Totally. Okay. I will wear the purple tuxedo to your wedding.
There you go.
With the ruffles.
With like the ruffles and the cummerbund. Yeah.
And the chicken. And I'll bring the chicken with me. Gonzo was always dating a chicken. It was a very progressive show.
Yeah.
Okay. I think this is enough Humorist Hangouts. This is a successful stream. I thank our viewers who were watching this whole time. I appreciate you, and we'll see you next week. And thank you, Andy Newton, for joining this week. And have a wonderful weekend.
Yeah, you too.
All right. Bye.
Goodbye, world.
Goodbye, world. How dramatic.